Okay, looks like we're going to do an oil change on a 2001 Hyundai Elantra. Pretty straightforward job, nothing special. Basically, you need a socket set, jack stands, just your standard stuff for everyday mechanic work. We're going to go ahead and get it jacked up, put on the stands, and go from there. As soon as I get underneath this thing, I'll show you where the oil filter is and where the oil drain plug is. Alright, be back in a few. Okay, after you have your vehicle safely supported with jack stands and jacked up, you want to get underneath, of course, and find your oil drain plug, which on this one is right here. This is your drain plug. It's a 17 millimeter. Typically, you know, a regular ratchet and a socket will do, wrench, whatever you need to use to get that off. The most important thing is when you're putting that bolt back in, you do not over tighten it. And if you go towards the front here, if I can get it focused, this poor phone, you will see your oil filter. It is right there. So it is on the passenger side, front of the motor. Alright. So basically, you get your oil pan here, get it under there, and a lot of times you use a strap wrench. Me, I usually just loosen by hand. Try and get as much of this in the video as I can, but it's kind of difficult sometimes. And you just turn it, and there you go. Comes right off. Watch out, it will leak, obviously. I don't know how much of this you're getting. Try for you. This spins off. Pretty simple. Unless the guy who did it before did not oil the seal, which I'll explain in a few minutes. There you go. Nice old oil filter off. Alright. Go from there. Put it around for a second so it doesn't make a mess. Grab your socket. Right here. Oh, that's. No. There we go. Same deal. Get under there, put your ratchet. You know, same basic stuff, guys. It's not rocket science, but you never know. There you go. Comes right out. Always wear gloves when you're doing this stuff also, guys. You know, used motor oil is known to cause cancer, skin cancer, and you know, it also saves you from getting burned, and also save you from getting yelled at by your wife or your husband or significant other for having nasty hands. Just let that drain, and then after all that's done, you put it back together. You torque your nut to the specified torque. You can find that information on the internet. It's not an issue. A lot of guys just hand tighten it, or just tighten it as tight as they can get it. I try and torque everything if possible, and go from there. But again, that's it. Let it drain, put your bolt back in, and go. Now, for your oil filter, for those of you who do not know, is you want to take it out. You always want to grease the seal. Right there. That's what most guys forget to do. You want to put a thin layer of oil on this O-ring to prevent it from seizing next time. That's all it takes, just a real thin coat. And you screw it back on, hand tight. Typically once it seats, I'm going to go about 3/4 of a turn, and that'll seat it correctly. Don't use the wrench to tighten this. Do not use your strap wrench or your oil filter wrench to tighten this. Tighten it by hand. Once it hits the seat, go 3/4 of a turn, and that will be sufficient enough to seal this thing. There we go. Alright. 3/4 of a turn. There you go. And I'll wipe everything off, of course. That's it, guys. We got this one done. Well, put the bolt in and then put the oil in. I'll be back in a second once I get this bolt in. Okay, now that we've got everything done underneath, we're on the top side of this job. It's real easy, you know, pretty straightforward. Remove your oil cap. There you go. Get your funnel. And follow your manufacturer specifications as far as the oil. Generally, most vehicles take 4.5 quarts. What I like to do, unless it's a Geo Metro, which takes 3 usually, is I'll add 4. Check the oil. Start the vehicle. Recheck it. And add as needed. But, you know, it's pretty straightforward, guys. Just add your oil. I'll be right back. We're going to change the air filter next after I get all this oil in. Alright, I've got my 4 quarts in. I'll pull your dipstick. Verify that it has what you expect it to have, which with 4 quarts this is full. It has not been started yet, so you have to take the filter into consideration. It's probably going to drop a half or a quarter of a quart. So what we're going to do now is start the vehicle after putting the oil cap back on. Recheck the oil and fill as needed. So here we go. So go ahead and put your oil cap back on. Also, you want to verify that you're not leaking down here, which you're not. And you'll notice that I have this vehicle still on it, my jack. It's because my road down here is very crooked, and I want to make sure that it's level when I'm checking everything. Go ahead and start it. Verify that the oil light does go off, which it just did. Turn it off. And go recheck your level. Which is basically you pull your stick and you wipe it. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but we're going to do it. Wipe your stick. Put it back in. There we go. Pull it back out and see what you got. That you are about half a quart low. So go ahead and add that last half a quart and you'll be ready to roll on your oil change. I'll be back in a few minutes and show you how to change the filter on this vehicle. Okay, we're done. We added that last half quart of oil and made sure that the level was right on the money. Now we're going to go ahead and change the air filter in this thing. Again, this is an 01 Hyundai Accent with a 1.6. It's a pretty straightforward job also. Pop your clips. 1, 2, 3, 4 clips. Lift it up. And there's your air filter. Pretty simple, huh? Pull it out. This one's actually pretty clean. The customer did request changing it though, so I'm going to throw this old one in the box for him so he has it. That's a pretty clean filter, guys. He's going to save that one for a backup. And you just take these filters, have it in the box. There's the part number if you need to know what it is in a brand. And stick it back down in the hole. Not too difficult. There you go. Make sure it's nice and seated. Take the housing here and flip them up. Again, 1. Sometimes they can be a little argumentative. Let's see. There we go. 2, 3, and number 4. And that is how you guys do your oil change and air filter change on that 01 Hyundai Accent. If you like my video, please hit the like button, subscribe. I will have more in the future. I promise my camera will get better. I'm just using my phone right now to start this. Thank you guys, and have a good day.